This is a question we talked about yesterday on the show, and Maverick was on it, but this was before the Niners had cut to Karis McKinley. The question is, should the Niners sign Vic Beasley? Now, when I asked this question, I didn't know the first thing about what's going on with Vic Beasley. And plus, it seemed like kind of a vanity luxury signing because they had McKinley. Now they don't. Beasley has been kind of a disaster for the Titans, or they got rid of him. He came in late to camp. He failed his physical initially in camp. He's had a knee issue. He was terrible for the Titans this year. They cut him. Before this year, he had been an all-pro in 2016. He had 8 sacks the year before, former first-round pick, the kind of guy who might do well with Chris Kosarick. I don't know what kind of money he's asking for, but it doesn't seem – he is meeting with the Raiders this week, and the Raiders are a contending team. So maybe he wouldn't even be interested in the 49ers. Should the Niners be interested in him?
No, not necessarily where this season's going. I think you're better off with trying to see what you could get out of Willis. Like you gave up a future 6th-round pick for the guy. See what you got with him and just try to continue to build a team. And how I also look at it is, if you bring in a Vic Beasley, you're going to kick in Eric Armstead more, which that is great. That would be ideal because that's the reason why he got his money, is rushing the passer from a 3-tech, not being out on the edge. But if you do that for a guy like Vic Beasley, who's known to just go AWOL and not even let you know where he's at, that means you're taking away snaps from either Kevin Givens, you're taking away snaps from DJ Jones, Contavious Street. One of those guys are going to see less snaps on the field. And I think those 3 guys, you need to look out for more on the future. As far as DJ Jones, are you going to re-sign him? Continue to let Kevin Givens progress, and same thing with Contavious Street. And with Vic Beasley, he's only had double-digit quarterback hits twice in his entire NFL career, and 1 season of double-digit sacks. If you're looking for a short-term answer, like the Raiders, yes. But as far as a tryout to see what you can get for him maybe next season, I don't think it's worth the tryout at this point.
Leo, turn up your mic a little bit if you can, just because I want people to hear you in crystal clarity. Maverick.
Got it.
I said this a little yesterday, but the effort problems with Vic Beasley, I think, are a little bit in question. Obviously, you're touching on how he showed up late to camp, and there's questions in that sense. But also, I think it's 3 tackles in 5 games this season are his stats, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Like, why not just, like I wrote this week, why not just give Jordan Willis more snaps and then see if he can be your Ronald Blair next year? If Jordan Willis performs, I'm not saying Jordan Willis should be a starter next year, but why not see if he can be a part of your team? Give opportunities to young guys. The 49ers are in that middle ground of should they just look for the draft? Should they try and compete? I think they should compete, but compete with intelligence, compete with the guys that have a future on your team for a couple of years as backups. Vic Beasley wouldn't be a starter on next year's team, in my opinion, because they would go Bosa, and I think they have to get a much more established defensive end or a draft pick to be the other starter.
Okay, you guys are really down on Vic Beasley, and you guys make great points. Allow me to retort, as Samuel Jackson would say. If you can do better than Vic Beasley, great. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think – I mean, D Ford has to go. And Takk McKinley, if they can bring him in next year, great. But Vic Beasley's better than Takk McKinley. He is. He's had more production. He is better than Takk McKinley. And the other thing about Vic Beasley, he is the kind of rusher the 49ers need to add, because all of their rushers are powerful and strong and a little methodical. And the reason that D Ford was necessary is he would be the first guy in, and even if he didn't get the quarterback, he would make him hold the ball, hitch, reset, and then all of a sudden everyone else could get there. And that's why they brought in Deion Jordan, theoretically, for that skill set. He can't do that. But I think Vic Beasley can do that. I think he can. I don't know if he can do it as well as D Ford, but D Ford isn't healthy anymore, so he's fictional. If they could bring in, I mean, for the right price, if they could bring him back next year and just have him replace D Ford's role in the defense, I think it'd be a good option, because I mean, you prefer to get that guy in the first round of the draft, but the Niners have to get a quarterback. They have to get interior offensive linemen. They have to get a corner. I don't know that they can draft an edge rusher. So to get a guy who was the former 8th pick in the draft, who had 8 sacks just last year and physically fits the profile of the D Ford replacement you're looking for, it's not a bad option. It's It's not a bad option. And I don't think it has anything to do with Jordan Willis. I like Jordan Willis. I like Ronald Blair. I like Kerry Hyder. But are any of those guys signed for next season?
Kerry Hyder, no. Ronald Blair, no. You already know the answer to this.
Hyder, no. I mean, you don't have to necessarily bring in Vic Beasley now, but maybe call him up, take him out for ice cream. Kind of start the relationships, test it out, and then see where he's at in the offseason. So ice cream.
I think if you're looking for Vic Beasley to replace D Ford, that can't be your plan A going into the offseason. That's got to be more of a plan C, plan B option. Not even plan B would probably be Kerry Hyder. But if you could go get Melvin Ingram, who would be an unrestricted free agent, go get Melvin Ingram. And then with Kerry Hyder as plan B, and then guys like Beasley, Tack McKinley, plan C and plan D. But like I said, if the 49ers were sitting with a reverse record at 6-4, absolutely make this move. But where they're sitting at 4-6, see if you can get a full season workload out of Kerry Hyder, and just continue going with that route.
I don't know. Okay, let's move on. But watching Carlos Dunlap last night, looking what he could do, how he kind of transformed that defense. Niners have a top 5 defense right now without really any edge presence. Be interesting to see what, a mediocre edge rusher like Vic Beasley could do for this defense. And I look at this team as not being dead yet, but I think I'm probably alone in that estimation. So I don't even know if Vic Beasley is interested. It seems to me Vic Beasley should go to the Raiders because not only are they better, that's tax-free state. You get more money in Nevada. So I would sign there too.
I thought the 49ers should have got Carlos Dunlap as well. So
yeah, he's decent. Pretty. Okay. All right.
You can tackle Kyler Murray. That's such a novel concept.
Yeah, none of the Niners can do that.